I'm Just Saying is sponsored by Hover.com. Domain names made simple. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to stitcher.com/GFQ. Hey everybody, welcome to I'm Just Saying episode 90. I'm Andrew Zarian. I'm joined by Lon Blaze, the returning Lon Blaze.
Hi.
From your long trip.
Yeah.
And Joanna's back. How you doing, Jo?
Hey,
it's been a long time.
It's been a very, very long time since I've seen you.
Everything's the same. Nothing changes.
The same,
I'm still
nothing
as miserable as usual.
You still as miserable as usual?
Yeah.
That's what we count
That's
on.
what I count on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yes,
wait a minute.
that's the
Wait a minute.
goal.
Okay. Joanne has something very, very important that she wants to say
Yes,
right
Jo.
at the top of the show.
Vagina.
Okay, thank
There you go. Because it's not said enough, and we will not ban her like they ban her.
Yes, I think we should discuss
Representative
my vagina.
Lisa Brown in the Michigan House was banned from speaking because she
I
uttered
saw
the
that.
word vagina.
Yes, because, of course, you know, the gentleman involved who stopped her said that they didn't say that word in mixed company, which sounds a little odd to me, considering that we are the ones who have the vaginas. They don't have them. They seem to appreciate them and want them.
So why do you think guys didn't want to hear it, Andrew?
I think that it's a little bizarre, right? I mean, she didn't use the C word. You know
No,
what I mean?
Or any
she
slang term.
Yeah.
Yes, she was using the
there was
technical
no,
biological term.
Yeah.
There was no nest of Venus or
Or shady thicket.
There you go.
Shady thicket. It's hysterical. What should she have called it?
I'm thinking hoo-ha.
Yeah. Yes.
I think probably hoo-ha.
her wahoo, her booyah.
Her Wahoo McDaniels?
Yeah.
Punane.
Yes, that's it. She should have called it her punani.
I mean, I just find it amazing. I mean, it's hysterical.
Well, did you hear what they did today on the steps of the
No,
Michigan
no.
House? This is hysterical.
I've been staring at a wall all day.
That woman and a few others read the complete vagina monologues on the step of
Did
the
they?
house. Yeah. Is that perfect?
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Me, I would like a nice vagina dialogue. I just think that would be kind of, but you know.
I do not understand. In the year 2012, we are having this discussion. It's
I know. It's
unbelievable.
just
to
blows
me.
my mind.
Unbelievable.
Why do you
to
think
me.
it is? Why do you think? I mean, we become such a loose society, right? I mean, if you look at it, look at what's on TV, look at what's said, look at.
I think there is still an old boys network in, it's still like 90% men in most legislatures, and you have an old boy network. Most of them are older, and they just
Now
don't
what
wanna
if
talk about it.
what if a Republican had said it, and not a Democrat?
Do they have vaginas?
Some of them,
Oh, okay.
very few.
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I think it's more of a political thing than a male-female word thing.
It probably is.
Well,
but
I think anything that you can react to in the opposing party, you do. Now, that's the rule. I'll just get all bent out of shape about something that you do because you did it first.
Well, this
That's
whole
the thing.
discussion, though, sort of reminds me of, have you watched My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding?
Oh, it's one of the worst shows ever.
It's wonderful.
It's so bad.
But it's so enlightening.
Are they really gypsies? I mean, they're not real.
Yes!
Like, they are.
Yes, they
Like
really
legitimate
are.
gypsies.
Yes, they really,
Well, what
really
does
are.
legitimate gypsy mean to you? Because they seem to be of,
Like a
of a couple
nomad.
of strains. Well, no, they don't.
Not all of them are nomadic anymore,
Okay.
but they are.
They live in homes.
Some of them do, especially here in the United States.
Here in the United States, was it North Carolina and South Carolina? There's a lot of,
Yeah, West Virginia, Martinsburg,
and they
West
seem to be a
Virginia.
lot of them of Irish heritage.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they call them. There's two sects basically.
Yeah.
The Irish descendants are the travelers. They call
Okay.
themselves travelers. The Hungarian descendants, I guess,
Hungarian,
are
Romanian.
Romanian Romanes. They call themselves Romanes.
It's like Jets and Sharks, Hatfields
Yeah.
and McCoys. It's cool.
I find that amazing that
Yes, they
They're-
still do, and they still, especially in Europe, they're still very prevalent. They still travel around. The the Europeans hate them, and they will
Yeah,
tell
I know.
you.
But I mean, like in Europe, like you're told, like when you go to France and Italy,
Yes,
like
they
the
tell you,
gypsies
stay
will
away from the
steal.
gypsies.
Yeah, they'll steal your stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
They'll steal your children.
they will steal your children.
Yeah,
And sell
but, in England, you have a big group of the travelers, and I just find the culture is just
Bonkers.
it's bonkers.
Yeah, because the girls dress up. Well, you know this. This isn't a lot of like Mediterranean cultures. It's like the girls are the virginity is pristinely kept, but how do they dress?
Oh, like whores.
They dress like
Yeah,
hookers.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've
but
seen
they're
that
doing
show.
it, and they marry these girls off at like 15 and 16.
Well, they have to because they don't want them to have sex before they get married, so they have to like marry them off early.
But the fact that this still goes on. I mean, I've seen a couple.
shocking.
I've seen a couple episodes.
It's shocking to
where
me.
I love that you've seen a couple episodes. It's the worst show ever. But just
I can't help it. It's
Well,
like
I
a
saw the
train
British
wreck.
one. I haven't seen the American. I've seen the
Yeah.
British one.
Okay.
yeah, the British one they
And-
live in mobile homes, so
Yeah.
they're still
Yes.
they still kind of
And they're like carnies. Like
Yeah.
they're more like carnies over there.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
but
travel
all the men
around,
settle
they pick up work.
all the men settle all the issues with fist fights.
Yes.
That's what they do.
Yes, and the men, the boys, of course, are allowed to have sex with whoever they
Yeah.
want.
Oh, what
well,
do they
they're
call
not
the-
supposed to have
the
sex
gorger-
with
the
fellow
gorgers.
Gorgers.
The gorgers
Yes.
are the non-gypsy women.
Non-gypsy women. Those are for
But I
having
love the
sex
girl
with.
is supposed to be pure. The guy can be as sullied as he wants to,
Right.
be, just not with a gypsy
But
girl.
isn't it like that in every
It's
every?
But
ama-
you
this
know
is
what it is?
amazing
It's
to me.
so amped. It's so amped up. It's amazing because the guys are talking about like the mother of the girl getting married is saying, we don't tell them about anything about sex because, in essence, if the guy gets the girl in bed on the wedding night and she even seems to know what she's doing,
He'll think that she was
used goods.
Yeah.
yes. So they know nothing about sex on their wedding nights. Can you believe this is still going on in this country? It's bizarre to me. And the girls, well, even the boys, really, most of them don't finish high school.
Well, I don't think any of them are really bright.
They don't. Well, they take them out of school because they don't believe in it. They don't believe there's any use to education, especially for the girls, because the girls are all going to be housewives and cook and clean, and that's all they are going to do.
Yeah.
But did you see the wedding dresses?
Oh, it's like crazy, right?
Oh, they're insane.
One girl got dressed in her gown inside the church. They had the church and the reception in the same place because the dress wouldn't fit outside.
Wouldn't fit. She couldn't get dressed at home because she couldn't get through the door in the dress. So she had to get dressed in the church because she couldn't get through the door. That's how big the dress was.
I saw the one where they got into a fist fight in
Oh, yeah,
front of
all the time.
No, there was one. It was on like the Soup, and the girl, like two of the bridesmaids, started fighting.
Yes.
Or like over like a cigarette. Like
Yes.
one asked for the other one for his like
yeah,
a cigarette.
They,
Like,
they are so hair trigger. It's like Jerry Springer, only worse.
why do you think they're like that? Like, why do you think?
Because
They're inbred.
and also because certain behaviors became treasured and now they're amplified and stylized. They are just all about the violence now. Violence and virginity. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and drinking.
Yeah, lots of drinking.
Lots of drinking. So,
And
there's
they
a-
announce the weddings like 3 days ahead of time.
Yeah.
And there are no invitations because that's considered in that culture uncouth.
Yes, no invitations are sent
It's
out
all by word of mouth.
because they're such
Okay.
a close society that it's
that
all
you
by
should
word
know.
of mouth.
If you haven't heard,
then you're not invited.
You're not
Yeah.
invited, and you're not in the
Yeah.
inner circle. And
But
then
they
some
also
people,
like will go into a catering venue or something and say,
I want this 2 days from now,
yeah,
and they'll throw down like
a bunch of
Oh,
cash.
I thought
bunch of cash.
I thought you were gonna say they threatened him with like knives.
no,
No.
They'll just go in with cash.
but they have
and-
so much cash that people put up with this behavior. That's the thing.
So what do they do that they have all that money?
From what I understand, that a lot of them do construction.
yeah,
Okay.
the guys do like
Gypsy construction. Okay.
like construction and that sort of yard work, things of that nature,
And it's all cash. you
pick
know?
up work.
And they charge less because they charge cash. And
But I mean, I've seen I've seen some of the episodes, and some of them are very wealthy.
yeah,
Yes, I don't know I think they have their own companies.
I guess. I mean, but
The ones in the United States.
I wonder how many of them actually live like the whole gypsy lifestyle. Like, I guess their
No.
ancestry is like.
It's such an insular society
It is.
that
That's like, well, it's like, come on, go into New York and tell me how insular like Greeks are.
Greeks, Italians.
Yeah.
Well, not to
Greeks,
that
Greeks
extent.
more, Italians less so. You know.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the most. You know, you got Amish in America. They're pretty insular. You know, people just are.
Yeah, but like it's almost like we've like we accept that they're a little nutty, but like they don't live amongst us. You know what I
Right.
mean?
no, they
Right.
live within us.
They live within us.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Hasidic Jews, Orthodox
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
It's all the time.
But they're
There's-
very conservative. I mean, they're conservative people. Like, these people are just fighting each other and stabbing
these people
each
are
other.
crazy.
But they have their weird sort of conservatism. Though.
right, the whole virginity thing.
It's amazing, right? Like, they smoke, they drink, they party.
Oh yeah.
They're
girls gotta be
grinding. They're
virgins.
grinding on each other.
Oh yeah.
But they're
yeah.
virgins.
Tell them about the one that
Oh,
that
and they're
tradition
they're only allowed to talk to boys
at a
at
party.
a party.
At a party, yeah.
Tell them about the thing where they can grab the girl.
Yeah. Now I don't know if that's in the Romany also. I
that's
think
in-
that may just be the traveler tradition.
Like, they
There's-
grab a girl and they pick the girl.
No, wait. This is a
Yeah,
little
the
different.
travelers at a party has to be at a party. If a boy likes a girl, he's allowed to like grab her,
Kidnapper.
sort of grab her, kidnap her
for the moment, in the moment.
like for the moment, and like push her up against a tree and kind of molest her.
Kind of feel her up kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inspector.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's the way he shows that he's interested.
yeah.
It's
Boy.
It's Mr. Smooth.
Oh, boy.
it's so
And they're all
bizarre.
awkward. Like, nobody's smooth. Like, none of the guys are like smooth.
No.
They didn't know how to.
No,
like,
all
it's
the
very
guys,
uncomfortable.
Well,
all the
because they're
guys
all
look
uneducated.
like the guys that they cut from the Jersey Shore, because they're all kind of like Guido-y, kind of like that.
Yes,
they've
yes,
all got
yes.
the
They
spiked
all
hair.
spike the hair.
yeah.
Like the Guidos,
Jesus.
they all spike the hair. That cracks me up. They look
But
like Guidos.
they'll watch mainstream television and talk about how all the girls are whores because they
Right.
like kiss other guys and stuff.
But
They're not even allowed to kiss.
Yeah, their first kiss is on their wedding day.
Yes, the girls.
for the girls.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the girls. They're not even supposed to kiss.
Why? I've seen them kiss on the show.
Not the Romanis. The Romanis do not kiss even.
I'm trying to find this.
They're not supposed to even
American,
kiss.
the
Their
name of
my
first-
the
big
show.
fat American gypsy wedding.
Yeah, my big fat American gypsy wedding.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, they dress like skanks.
They dress like skanks.
Jesus.
This girl had a 14th birthday party.
And she had this like super short shorts with two hearts on the butt.
Yeah,
know,
all
and
beaded.
all beaded
with-
at a bare
She had like
midriff.
hot pants, like super short, like butt huggers, with two hearts, beaded hearts on her butt, and two beaded hearts on her boobs. She looked like a stripper,
Yeah.
but her mother was like watching her the whole time, so that none of the boys got
And the
too
mother like
close.
cried when she saw the outfit because it was so beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, this is fascinating. Now,
it's so
it's a whole different level of like certain things that you would
insanity.
think is not acceptable.
Yeah,
They find it acceptable, but things that you wouldn't find acceptable, they're fine with it.
Right.
Like, it's almost like this backwards way of thinking. Like, certain things are on limits, certain things are off limits.
Right.
Like, you look
It's
at certain
bizarro
traditions.
world.
Like in Spanish tradition, like the girl gets an earring, like she gets a piercing when she's a baby, like as
Right.
an infant, like they get a piercing. But in many other cultures, that's looked at as a taboo thing. Like, oh, you
Oh,
can't
yeah,
get your
that
ears
ha-
pierced.
Yeah.
And that's like a weird thing.
It's
Like
very
certain
weird.
traditions, people
like
get a
every
nose
tra-
ring in
every-
Indian tradition.
right.
In
Women
every
get no-
culture, there is a tradition that in another culture is offensive. Basically.
Probably. But I mean, this tradition of theirs, like to me, getting earrings or not getting earrings is sort of arbitrary, but wanting your girls to be virgins but dressing them like hookers seems counterindicated.
I don't know. It's mixed signals. I mean,
It seems a little weird. You want the boys
What
not
I love
to touch
too is this
them.
woman has this amazing dress this one day, and it's over the top for me, but to her it's the most beautiful princess day in the world. And the next day she's scrubbing a floor
in a trailer.
oh really?
in a trailer.
yeah.
Shit.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't see them talk about honeymoons ever.
No, I don't even think they have honeymoons.
So what do? They get knocked up, they bang, and then they start banging away and have kids.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
exactly what they do.
Oh, like
And
the
then-
Irish. Okay.
Yeah, and then and then the guys drink
Yeah.
and smoke. And
Well, how is
get
that any
fights.
different than Catholic guilt?
Really, it's just
Very close.
yeah,
It's almost the same thing.
it's Romany guilt.
It's true. Well, the travelers are Irish.
But
So it's like a drastic.
But
they're-
this
they're
touches on
Catholic.
something interesting. This touches on something interesting. Now, we look at other cultures, like earrings for the longest time. I had a friend, beautiful girl. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful girl. And she did not have an earring until she moved out of her house. She would go around, hook up with guys. I mean, it wasn't like she was a prude, but her father was very conservative, Italian family. She did not have an earring.
now that's
was
weird
not
because some
allowed to have an
Italian
earring.
families, like the Spanish, they pierce the
They pierced the kid.
Yeah.
But I Americanized. Like it was like an American. It wasn't like
Yeah,
Italy
because
from like
my
Italy.
mother said when she was an infant, her grandmother pierced her ears.
Yeah, and that's
and her mother got mad because they were trying to be American, so they didn't want the kids to look like Italian.
Is that like a non-Italian thing to do to get your ears pierced? I didn't
it's
know
an
like
Italian
it's
thing
ethnic.
to
It's
do
an
it.
Italian thing to do.
No, but is it an ethnic thing to get earrings? I've never
Yes, to
I've
get
never heard of that
Italian-
to get your ears pierced when you're a baby.
Yeah,
from your baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess because I'm from that area,
Yeah,
the,
you
the
don't
Mediterranean
see-
type area.
Yes,
it's
you do
normal.
not see little American baby girls.
Like
you
little
didn't
waspy
used
girls
to.
don't
Little
get their-
waspy girls don't get their
Yeah.
ears pierced when they're in.
So the Irish girls used to look like the Irish nuns used to look down.
Yes.
Well, remember was it in
we had crazy nuns, but
all nuns are crazy.
we had one crazy nun that we were not supposed to wear earrings to school, and we had girls in the school who were Italian or Spanish, and
Yeah.
they had been pierced when they were babies, so they used to wear these little earrings, and one of the nuns ripped the girl's earring right out of her ear. Ripped the ear.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're nuts.
Yeah,
It's
because it was not,
unstable, pure.
So
according to her,
yeah,
according to her, it wasn't right.
Right.
no.
Well, according
No.
to the church doctrine and what they were being taught.
Because
But
most
why?
of the
But
nuns
here's
were-
the fascinating thing. I mean, let's
because
look
Jesus
at.
mentions earrings.
I mean, but there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on. Like you look at, like girls now, right? Like I remember when I was in middle school, like I guess belly rings became the in thing to do.
They
Yes.
started to.
Like
right?
that's when it started. Like probably right, Lon. Like
Yeah.
when I was in like sixth grade.
Yeah, I would think
That's
so.
when the whole trend started.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of a belly ring comes from stripper culture.
I guess.
That's how
Well,
it really
what I love
started.
is that it always starts from a lower trends always start from a quote unquote lower cultural, lower socioeconomic, like the baggy clothes.
Yeah, it's
The baggy clothes is like a prison thing.
yeah, it's a
yeah,
prison thing.
yeah, prison thing, yeah. But the belly ring, I remember all these girls I went to school with, 13, 12, 13, they finally got it by 14.
Right,
Got the belly ring.
right.
And I remember at first thinking, I'm like, wow, that's such a big deal. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like they got the belly ring.
They
And
got
all
the
these
belly
girls
ring.
were like, oh my God, my dad doesn't know. My mom took me, or my mom doesn't know. My
Right.
dad found out, whole thing.
Right.
And now I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, my 14-year-old kid came to me. He's like, I want a belly ring. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't see why
Well, it's
that's like a
because-
taboo thing.
You know why?
Because it hadn't been done.
It's not like a tongue ring. Like there's like implications of what a tongue ring is, you know?
Yes.
Like,
or a nipple ring.
or a
yes.
nipple ring. You know, my 14-year-old daughter comes to me. It's like, I want to get a nipple ring.
No, I don't think so.
Well, a belly ring means you're showing off your midriff, you know,
Right.
to some degree. I mean, you can sexualize almost everything. In the
True.
come on.
But that's what everybody does.
Shakespeare's time,
Yeah.
they sexualized the forehead.
Up against the wall.
Yep. I love the
remember
things that
things that stuck with me from
with-
8th grade.
with all the kids that stuck for that.
I remember how old are you? 27?
28.
28? Okay. You're
Rub it in.
about the same age as my niece Melissa.
Yeah.
And I remember I do remember when she was like 16, she was bugging her mother, she was younger. She wanted pierced ears. And first when she was like 14, and then that was
She
a
didn't have
big deal.
pierced ears at 14.
No.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. And then when she was 16, she wanted the belly ring. And that was like a whole big thing. And then she finally got it. But I think
This
Like
shows
it's
you
not
how
like
many
she wants a clit ring. You know what I mean?
know,
like I never
I know.
I never understood the whole crazy thing about a belly ring. I'm like, first of all,
Any-
you're only
any-
going to see your belly 3 months out of the year.
Right.
Any adornment of a woman
And that's
has a sexualizing factor, particularly for the fathers. It just sexualizes their daughter.
and fathers can't deal with their daughter's sexuality, so
because their daughters have.
vaginas.
There you go. Sorry. She
Very
has to
good.
say it. It's a rule.
Which
She has
we're
to
not
say it.
we need
which
a bell.
Which we're not allowed to say. We're not
Right.
allowed to say we have vaginas.
Right. Absolutely.
Everybody
So
knows
you
we
got-
have them.
Are kids still going after the belly rings?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think tattoos are kind of big.
You know what
Yeah.
they're getting? I'll tell you what they're getting, and this is so bad. Like, this is a trend. Like, tattoos are one of the things that you can't take out. Like, Jessica had, like, the earring, like, up top.
Uh-huh.
Like, the earring here. She has, like, the belly ring.
Uh-huh.
She had, like, her ears pierced. But, like, she had, like, 3 piercings on her ear.
Okay.
She doesn't wear the other ones. Like, she'll wear 1, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
She won't wear the other ones. A nose ring, you could get it, and guess what? You could be 32. You could take it out.
That's right.
A tattoo
Is for
is forever.
Yeah.
And the
Agreed.
unfortunate thing, and I'm not against tattoos at a young age because I got mine when I was 16. But my tattoo is not really visible. It's on my back.
Right.
And it's
Right.
not huge. It's on my shoulder.
I got
Right.
mine at 46.
Yeah, you got yours at 40. I got mine at 16. The unfortunate thing about what's happening now is that a lot of girls are getting tattoos. And that's fine. I'm you know what? I actually find that attractive. I like the girl with the tattoo. But a lot of teenage girls are getting ridiculously large tattoos.
Yeah.
Before, you know what it was? The heart, like by like the vag.
Yeah.
Like a little heart
By
there.
the
Vagina.
Okay.
There you go.
The
look at
tramp
you.
stamp.
Hey,
the
Andrew,
tat-
even you pulled back. You didn't say the whole word.
I say vagina a lot. Like I say vagina when I say it.
Really?
I love the other word for it. The
C
one
word?
the one that you don't say. I say that word, I'm not exaggerating, maybe 20 times a day.
You do?
All day long.
About
everybody and everything.
male or female?
Male or female, doesn't
Okay.
matter. And
So
I put,
it's just a general.
like I put a Y behind it. Like I use it as personality flaws. Like if someone is in a bad mood, I'm like, I don't understand why you're so cunty today.
There you go.
And Jess and I use that word on
Really?
a regular basis all day, every day. I love that word. I think it's such a great word because you see people lose it. Like if you say that to a woman, like
Oh,
there's
they
no
go nuts.
word. There's no word in my life. There's
They go
nothing
nuts.
anybody could say to me that'll drive me nuts. But the second you pull that card out, like I was driving the other day, and this woman almost crashed into my car, cut me off, and gave me the finger.
Okay.
I pulled into the gas station, rolled my window down. Her kids are in the car. She has 2 daughters and 1 boy. And I called her the
That's
C word.
not right.
And she died.
That's not right.
Well, you know what? She shouldn't have given me the finger and told me to go F myself.
That's true too.
So I pulled in, and Jesse's next to me. I pulled in next to her. I'm like, hey, excuse me. She's like, what?
But you
I'm
know
like,
that it has.
I'm
its
like,
content.
you're a fat C word. I'm like, I hope you die, you C word.
Yeah, I think if you call
And-
them a fat vagina, it just doesn't have the same
No,
punch.
and
True.
the look on her face, it was almost like I stabbed her daughter.
Like what I love is that she gives you the finger, but
Yeah.
you do that, and it's like, well, that seemed uncalled for.
And then I walked, and then Jesse's
I
like,
do not like that. word.
why? Why? Because you've been told not to like it. That's why.
I don't like it when it's used. Unless
Well, you know what?
I don't
He's
like
universal about it.
I'm universal.
In that-
I
no, no.
call everybody that.
well, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, why no?
Oh.
Actually, in the UK, it's not. It doesn't have the same.
Cachet.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's not as powerful as it is here. And men call each other that all the time. I call everybody that
Why would you call a man that?
because they're acting like one.
But
Well, see,
see,
but I don't like that
See?
because
that
implies
means
But
there's
better
a
than a
negative
bitch.
connotation
Yeah,
to being.
yes, that implies that the
And I've met a
C-
few, and they have no negative
No,
connotation.
no. How about the
Really?
T word? Now, how about the T word? I think that's a funny word, but I think that's more powerful than the C word.
the T word.
The T word.
I have no idea what you're talking
Oh,
about.
come on.
I
same
swear.
same body part.
Oh,
The T word.
4 letters.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh,
I
okay.
think that's
pretty nasty.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit more
Okay.
nasty than the other one.
Because that's not a good C word.
No.
That's like
No.
low grade.
No,
C.
that's like
No.
low grade.
Yeah.
I witnessed I was in Manhattan. I was on the subway, and this guy in a suit. I witnessed this guy call a woman that,
Oh,
and the woman
Like-
lost it. I mean, just went berserk.
I would have.
Just went berserk.
I would have.
And like he
But
wasn't
can
justified to say that to
Can you call
her.
a man anything that bad? I think the
No.
worst thing that a man
No.
gets called, and this is going to be a negative thing, I think, to a guy, because I know you don't like this word either. But when a guy calls, especially a guy, even a girl, but more when a guy calls another guy a pussy, that's like low grade.
You know what
because
it
you're
is?
saying
I
you're
don't
a
like
woman.
that.
Yeah,
No,
but
I know,
I
and
do not like that.
because the feminist in you doesn't
Yes,
like it.
I
Yeah.
do
But
not
but
like
here's the
that.
thing. I think a lot of these words, like growing up in a blue collar neighborhood, like you are called that every day of your life. You're called that and fag every day.
Yeah, and I find
And
that I find that really offensive.
Like I don't use fag at all. I've never liked using it that much. Like I don't say it that much. Like it's not, but like once in a while it'll come out. And that like blue collar, playground thing comes out. But like I don't really use it because like I don't find it to be funny.
I don't either.
But she doesn't
I mean-
find the other ones funny, So
Well, no, because the implication.
But the implication
is
of that word is not gay.
fag.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, the way that it's used, it means like.
But I think it
you're an idiot.
started there.
It started there. But what it
Yeah.
became, like, if you go to the island,
it's like people using the N word, which I'm just hard pressed to say, not
Yeah.
because I can't use it, but because
now
I'm a
what
white
would
guy.
now what would the reaction be if you called a white woman the N word? I wonder what the reaction to that would be.
What? It makes no sense.
Like, I think a lot of these words, I really don't find.
But you know what?
Like, I could say anything
words
to
we
you.
Words we give value. We all give words value. Okay,
We do.
There are words that are prettier than other words. There are words that are uglier than every other word. And if you use a word because it's ugly, then you're using the word as a weapon, and a weapon is a weapon.
But shouldn't that be for any word? So technically, you could use any word.
As
I
a
could
weapon?
make up a word.
Right, but,
yeah.
but words.
Yeah.
You and I are having a conversation because we've agreed that the words that we're using mean the things that we mean. This is a desk because we all call it a desk. If we started all calling them different things, we'd be like, what the hell is everyone talking
Right.
about? So there's this, like, no one's turning around calling someone, pardon me, honey, a pussy because it's a good thing.
Right.
So we know that it's an insult. So where it derives from is less important, possibly,
Yeah.
but it's still an insult, and it's meant to hurt.
It's meant to hurt. Well, and what bothers me about it is that the implication behind it is that a pussy is a less than.
Okay, you know what?
And that
you know what?
bothers
a
me.
fag is a less than.
Okay,
That
you know what you
bothers
could
me.
tell, like, say to a guy that'll make him go crazy?
What?
The second you insult his girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
That drives, but they're not getting angry because they're hurt by it. They're getting
No.
angry because it's this
Protective
No,
caveman.
yeah.
Like it's like an instinctual thing that kicks in.
Find it, would not find it a compliment to have two guys fight, like start a fist fight over me, because you know what? It has nothing to do with me. It's their freaking ego.
Yeah.
It's really about their ego, and most when guys do that, it's almost like you're their possession. It's like you've insulted their possession, their prized possession.
It's like if I insult your car and we get into a fight, it's not like the car's feelings are hurt. So it really is much more about you and me than it is the
Right,
car.
exactly. It's not about the girl, really.
I find words really funny. Like, I find how people get so upset at them. Like, I was sitting at the bar.
And yet you use them to
and you
get
use
people angry, to hurt, to
Yeah.
insult, so you know that it hurts. So
Yeah.
I don't mind the C word
In what term?
in descriptive terms, or if you're talking about something with someone that you know.
And you call them that?
If you call them that in anger, to be nasty, that's different. If you're just
like a term of endearment.
that's fine.
I referred to one of my friends as that. I was sitting at the bar. I actually was with Jess. This is like a couple days ago.
Not a stranger, but if it's somebody that you know, I think it's fine.
I was with Jess at the bar a couple days ago, and I was telling I had another friend with me, and I was telling him about one of my friends. I'm like, oh, he's such a C word. Like, he was supposed to come out and he didn't come out, and I called him the C word. And the bartender, there's a secondary bartender. It's a girl, and it's like she's like, what did you just call that guy?
Right. Well,
and I repeated. I'm like, okay, I called it.
If that term had been used to that woman as a term of endearment, she would have come to she would not have gotten upset. But if that word CDC, it's the history that people have.
No, I think we need to be desensitized when it comes to these words. I think we take things a little too serious. People get very upset at them. Like Coco gets very upset at any kind of derogatory Italian word. Like Guido, he gets upset about.
Really?
Like even like Gindaloon,
wait,
like
no.
the term Gindaloon.
Gindaloon?
Jessica used the term Gindaloon with him.
I don't even know that term.
It's like a guinea.
Okay.
It's like a Jersey Shore type, or like a guy that she was describing one of her friend's boyfriends. Like, oh, he's like a Gindaloon that drives like an IROC.
Okay.
And he flipped.
Really?
He got so upset over that word.
But that's basically you've had your buttons installed by your culture.
By your culture, yeah.
Listen,
you could say anything about my culture.
I was just going to say, does it?
What are you going to say to me?
No. I was going to say, has anyone ever said something to you that it just got you?
No, I have never.
Something about Jess?
No.
Okay, I'll have to work on that.
You know what I tell him? I'm like, hey, listen. If you have the balls, go tell her that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
I'm like, I dare you. Go ahead.
Oh, every once in a while, someone will say something to Joanna. I'll just look over and it'll be like, the look will be, you got this? And she'll just like go, and she'll turn and I'm go, okay, I'm out. And I sit back and I watch her tear the guy a new one.
No, I think, but you're right. We're programmed to think a certain way and be offended by a certain thing. Like
okay, but if someone is programmed, see, that's what like rules of etiquette are for, and there's like speech etiquette and that sort of thing, because we can't know everyone's sensitive areas, but we can know them like consensus. Come on. If you use the C word, there's very rarely going to be a time that people are going to, well, thank you, aren't you sweet?
No, I
you know what I mean? So,
but we have made it into that. We have made it into this thing.
But that's what words are. I mean,
that's what we have made the whole language.
The whole, like, I don't get offended. I don't get offended at Guinea or Cugine. Well, I use that. I'll even say Cugine or the Cugines or the Cuginettes. Yeah. But
then again,
there's a history there with those words. Those words originally came about as insults and derogatory, nasty slurs.
And a lot of cultures,
slurs.
like hip hop culture, picked up the N word and started using it, to each other. But it's almost like they have permission to, because they're the ones that were called it. The fact that there are white kids walking around calling each other that, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I grew up in that hip hop culture. I mean, all these, the wealthy Jewish kids from Douglaston calling each other the N word. I found that funny.
No, it is kind of stupid. But I mean, it's like to this day, you wouldn't call. I mean, if you call a Jewish person a kike.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example here. Okay, you might know this person actually. On my show, I don't remember if it was my show or like in real life, but this person heard me say, your
real life is a show.
My real life could be a show. I can't remember anymore because this was like so long ago, just like a year and a half ago. But somebody asked me like, oh, is he Italian? I'm like, oh no, he's a Jew. I was referring to someone as a Jew.
Okay.
This person sent me a message on Facebook saying that I do not have the right to call someone a Jew because a Jew is a derogatory term and the proper term is Jewish. And how dare I call the person a Jew?
I know. Believe it or not, I was on a travel message board. Okay. There's a a site, a website called Virtual Tourist.
Okay.
And they have message boards. It's basically most of the people on there are real like backpacker types, but they're all like real travelers. And if you want information about a place, it's a great place to go into the message boards and find out, about an area. And then people get into general conversations about things. So I was on a message board and somebody had posted a question. They were coming to New York and they wanted some information about the various neighborhoods or something like that. So I was describing certain areas and places to go and stuff. And I said the Lower East Side, which used to be called Jewtown.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What's not like it? What was your?
God.
One thing you're not telling people is that your username was Jesse Jackson for fun, and then your quote was Hymietown underneath,
yes,
right?
Exactly. So I was bombarded with postings. I'm a racist. I'm a this. I'm a that. How could I? And I said,
that was a town. That's what they called it.
I did,
like Chinatown.
Yes, I said I did say what used to be called Jewtown. I said it's what people called it because the area was Jewish. We still say Chinatown.
Yeah, but
they went nuts. Oh my God. And then people were writing and saying that I lived in New York my entire life and I have never heard that term. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I grew up in Astoria, Queens, and that is what people referred to that part of the city as. My parents and their friends called it Jewtown. That is where I first heard it.
Maybe it was a very racist thing and you had no clue.
And the judge that I used to work for, who's an Orthodox Jew,
referred
calls
to
it Jewtown.
Yeah.
But he's a Jew. He's allowed to. See, I think there are women terms. How
about the French? What do you call the French?
As an insult?
Yeah.
Frogs.
Really?
It's the worst.
Really?
It's the cheesiest.
Is it
term.
really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Frogs.
Why? Because they eat frogs?
Yeah, because they eat frog legs, and it starts with the FR as well.
Like you know what the first, and it's really funny because now like let's go into like cartoons like as a kid, like how they depict different races.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I every depiction of a French person was a drunk holding a loaf of bread and drinking wine, and the what do you call it? The beret. And and a striped shirt. That's every depiction of a French.
Yeah, the Apache dancers.
Yeah.
Yes, the Apache dancers.
That's every
It's hysterical.
cartoon like that. And this is what
most people think that they have a claim to the words. Like I think if women were spinning around using the C word and the T word, and it would be fine because women. I think this is going to sound funny. This is the silliest one, but I think boobs and boobies are the most ridiculous terms, and I think the only people that really should be allowed to use them are women. When guys talk about it sounds like they're talking about their pet or their toy. Oh,
look at her boobs.
Yeah. Ooh, her boobs when he means mine or the ones I wish were mine.
Boobs are bad enough, but boobies.
Yeah, I just so ridiculous.
It's just silly.
Sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon. My Little Boobies. Yeah.
I watched a cartoon. I forgot what it was called.
Okay.
We did a whole bit on it, and it was the most racist.
Oh, some of those cartoons were
in the world.
Yeah,
Some of the depictions of Muslim people are horrible. Some of the depictions of
any black characters like in a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Heckle and Jekyll.
Heckle and Jekyll. Yeah.
There are some awful depictions of, and there's awful depictions of any woman whose hips are wide. You know what I mean? Just like trollopy kind of things. I just saw something. See, talking about language. This is 5 terms, deadly terms used by a woman. Fine. This is the word women use to end an argument. And when she lets you know that she is right and you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Nothing means something and you need to be worried. Go ahead. This is a dare, not permission. Do not, in any case, do it. Whatever. A woman's way of saying, fuck you. That's okay. She is thinking long and hard on how and when she will pay you back for your mistake. And the bonus word, wow. This one is not a compliment. She's amazed that one person could possess this much stupidity. Is that classic? Thank you. Thank you. Sherry from Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
I don't know. I think there's so many of these words and things that people do and say.
But we assign, and you know what? There'll be in the next generation. There'll be a set of words that you are really unique in that there's not a word that bends you out of shape. There really are. But there are. Yeah, you are unique. There are people that Lenny Bruce used to do a bit about. He goes, "Oh, I love when you pick on the spics and the niggers and this and that." He goes, "Don't say anything about the Italians, though."
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like that. Howard ran into that. It was okay when he insulted everyone until they got to that person's group.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, don't pick on adopted kids. Do you remember he went on a whole thing about how adopted kids weren't really loved? And he enraged that population.
Oh my God. He did that.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Selena. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, he did this whole thing about how Selena, she deserved it. And this whole thing about Selena, he would play like La Cucaracha in the back while talking about Selena's dead body.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll give you one example. Chauncey Hayden, which works for me, his ex-girlfriend, fiance, died of a drug overdose.
Okay.
But Chauncey claims Angelina Jolie killed her. It's a whole separate story, which there is some truth allegedly to that.
That Angelina Jolie killed
her? Yeah, because
her?
they were doing heroin together. She was a model, and Angelina Jolie was modeling, and allegedly Angelina Jolie got the heroin for her, and she shot up too much, and they left her dead. They knew she had died, and everybody just left her. Allegedly. I don't know. So, he brought Debbie Faye. That's who it was. Debbie Faye's ashes to Howard. And there was bone fragment in the ashes. And Howard proceeded to have sex with the bone fragment of the ashes.
Ew.
Nobody was offended.
That's disgusting.
But the second you bring up Selena...
That's disgusting.
Nobody was offended, though.
I'm offended.
Well, nobody was because nobody said a thing at that time.
Ew.
Kind of amazing.
But the second you played La Cucaracha behind Selena's death, there are people protesting in front of the studio. This is how priorities are all whacked out of shape. Until it's you don't really care.
Yeah, everyone's really out for themselves.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
And they don't want, because if I say a joke about you, I mean it as a joke. Someone says a joke about me, they're being offensive. That's the way most people view it. Which of course means that everyone.
What was Howard's problem with Selena? I missed this.
Nothing. He just found it really funny
that people went on and on and on about this.
On and on about
her. All of a sudden, I mean, because how many times had we ever heard about Selena before she died?
Well, that's true.
Right, exactly. And all of a sudden, she was everywhere, and she was. Oh, come on! You even said this when Whitney died. She became sainted.
True.
Yeah, that's what they do to all of these people. Same thing with Michael Jackson.
But Whitney was a much bigger star than
Whitney
Selena
Houston.
was.
But here's the thing: Whitney Houston, Rodney King, for example. Okay.
Yes.
Rodney King was a lowlife, and Rodney King was high as a kite and went on a high-speed chase with these cops. I don't feel bad. What happened to Rodney King? I don't feel bad at all. You know who I feel bad for? The 50-something people that died during those riots, because people make everything into a race thing, and there are these race mongers like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson that stand on their soapbox and make everything into a race thing. This guy was a criminal. He was a drug addict.
Yeah,
he was drunk, and he nearly could have killed people, and these cops beat the crap out of him. This has gone on for many, many years, white or black.
I do think that the cops' behavior was a little bit extreme.
Listen, guess what? They beat the shit out of him. He should have learned his lesson, but guess what happened? Oh my God, this poor guy got beat up. It's not this poor guy got beat up.
No, he was not.
This guy went on a high-speed chase with the cops, could have killed people.
He was not some innocent... No, he was not.
So they burned Los Angeles down, and now they're playing this whole thing on the TV. Now that this guy's dead, he's a notorious drug addict. that and a criminal. I mean, not a drug addict that only does harm for himself, because that doesn't bother me. You can do all the drugs you want. That does not affect me at all in any way. But he was a criminal. He was a bad man. And now they're doing specials on how he was single-handedly, the Rodney King incident single-handedly was one of the most important race crimes of the 20th century.
It's not the
really.
Very honestly,
the civil rights movement, the Million Man March.
No, it really has nothing to do with him. It has to do with
the reaction to him.
the reaction.
I think it showed people's stupidity and how they react to things.
Well, it does. People overreact to things. They do.
I think that's what it showed. But again, but this poor guy. Oh, poor Rodney King. Whitney Houston, another lowlife. I don't feel bad that she did this.
About that.
Don't feel bad about her.
She destroyed her life. It's
she did it to herself.
It's sad. It's a sin. It's tragic because this was a brilliantly talented woman who destroyed her life.
Michael Jackson,
everything going for her.
Michael Jackson was a mentally disturbed man.
Yes, he was.
That had this Peter Pan complex, that thought he was still a child because he was abused, which that's the sad part.
Yes, he was.
He was abused as a child.
Yes, he was. And I do believe that he was.
And I do believe he abused children. I do believe that he had some inappropriate thing with a kid.
I don't really know. I think he definitely had an inappropriate reaction to children. But whether or not he actually molested them, I don't know. I think in his head he was still a child. So, he didn't think there was anything wrong with having them come and sleep in his bed.
And here's the thing: that the doctor, everybody's blaming that doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He's somewhat guilty, but Michael Jackson is the one who pretty much was addicted to pain pills.
Yes, he was addicted to pain pills, but realized that getting addicted to pain pills, often your physician, especially when you have a concierge physician who knows you personally, they do bear some responsibility. And
that's nutty.
For continuing to give you the stuff.
Propofol. He was a combination of propofol and fentanyl. That is heavy. That's what you get for surgery.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really what they give you when they put you under.
Yes.
And he was taking it nightly.
And some doctor was giving it to him.
And guess what? I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad that he died. I don't, because now everybody's a hypocrite. Everybody was making fun of him weeks before.
I know.
He was a joke. And now all of a sudden, oh, poor Michael Jackson.
His career was over.
Poor Michael Jackson.
His career was over.
Well, I do think when people die, and as a defense, people always embody, go to any funeral. Listen, I've been to a funeral of many people. Yes. It's always what people remember are the best of what this person
guarantee
did.
you, O.J. Simpson, when he dies.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna have football.
It's gonna be gone. You know what it's gonna be? The Naked Gun movies and football.
Yeah,
they're gonna make him into a saint. Oh, poor OJ.
Poor OJ, the poor thing.
Well, what it goes. It's sad that his life came to what it came to because this is what he was, and then they'll.
I guarantee you know what they're gonna do. I'm 100%. Nancy Grace is gonna be all over this crap. They're gonna do an autopsy of him. And they're going to look at his brain and they're going to say, because of the concussions that he got, his brain was like an 85-year-old. The same thing they did with that wrestler, Chris Benoit.
Hey, have you seen Jim McMahon?
No.
Jim McMahon you should look him up. He is a mess. He took so many hits. He doesn't remember.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't remember the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because of the concussions.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Chris Benoit, a couple of years ago, he was a professional wrestler. Could possibly be one of the greatest pro wrestlers in the ring. His best friend died of a heart attack a year or two before. The guy he's working on the road for years, 350 days out of the year. He's a wrestler. He's taking a lot of hits to the head. He's supposed to win the title belt on Sunday. He doesn't show up. Everybody's calling him, not picking up. They get this weird, bizarre text message from him. They go to his house. He killed his kid. He killed his son.
Right.
And he hung himself.
Oh, my God.
And they blamed steroids because they found, vials
Yeah.
of steroid. The guy, what happened was, because of all the concussions he had, his brain was the same as an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient.
Oh my God.
And finally he snapped because of all the bumps to the head.
Sure.
The guy lost his mind.
No, it
and he
makes
killed his
perfect
family.
sense.
And he killed his family.
Oh my God.
But nobody is saying that. Nobody's blaming that. You know what's a better story? To blame this deranged steroid freak that killed his family. The guy took so many hits to the head, he killed his family. But they've changed the story because that's an explanation of what happened. So they blame steroids. But a lot of these football players, I guarantee you, when OJ dies, they're going to do an autopsy and they're going to say, now this explains it. His brain was all banged up and that's why he did it.
That does happen. And, it's like, where do you think the expression being punch drunk or punchy comes from?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Because old fighters would get a little loopy from all the hits to the head.
Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
You're telling me that's not caused from all the hits?
Jerry Quarry's messed up too.
It's horrible. And nobody stops to think that these sports are barbaric.
Yeah, it's like it's all beginning to we are of the age now that people are saying all these people that worked out heavily and stuff, they're all the ones needing the knee and hip replacements. The ones that kind of sat by quietly and stuff don't need them.
Look at Arnold.
Because they abused
Arnold had
themselves.
had heart surgery.
Yes, because they abused themselves. This is like, what? Can we please evolve past the Romans?
See, I like my athletes bloated and steroided up.
Oh, shut
I think
up.
it's open game. And listen to this, okay?
That's absurd.
I don't think that. I think
is.
it's a risk they're taking, and for the millions of dollars they're getting paid, you know what? There has to be a sacrifice. And I think take the risk.
No.
Inject yourself all you want.
No, because it's disgusting and it's deranged that we even want to watch that. And you take these poor kids from the hood that have no other way out of the hood.
No. I
Yes!
see. No, that I have an issue with that. I think the reason why it's an easy way out by playing sports and becoming a football player. Rather than doing that, why not say, you know what? From all the time I'm dedicating to sports, why don't I go study and become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, a web developer?
Being a lawyer or a doctor.
Because it's looked down upon in their community. You're selling out if you do that.
Not just that, but first of all, you're talking years of education. You're talking massive loans. And these days, the days where you got out of law school and could guarantee yourself a high-paying job are over. They do not exist
No, they
anymore.
don't exist.
So you're not going to get to be rich and famous by going to school and going to law school and coming out with loans to pay. You're not.
But I think the perception in these urban areas is that if you do well and you leave, you are selling out.
Well, that may
You're a
be-
sellout for going and doing well in school. Instead of that, and I'm not saying every neighborhood is like this. And I'll tell you, I have a very good friend. You know him. He's in the military now. Brilliantly smart. We went to school together.
Okay.
Every day in his area, in his community, everybody would call him a sellout.
Right.
And it would tell him that he's white. He's not really black.
Right.
Because he's going to school and he's getting educated and he comes from a good family.
And that's a problem.
And that's a problem.
That is definitely a problem. And the thing is, that cuts across racial lines too. That's like a poor person's mentality.
But the blue collar neighborhoods have the same thing too. I grew up in
Just a different set of
standards. Instead of doing well in school, it's like, hey, you're going to college. You're not becoming a mechanic. You're not becoming a cop. You're not becoming a firefighter. What do you mean? Oh, you left the neighborhood. Okay.
What, are you better than us?
Well, they go to college. No. It's like no. You take the civil service test. You get a bus. You become a bus driver. You got a life. You get pension. You get this. You get that.
And you live in the neighborhood you grew up in.
Yeah. Well, with the result being, I forget. I'm gonna have to find the study.
It's really a socioeconomic thing.
Yeah.
But like 98% of the people in the world, like, live and die within like 10 miles
like
of
10
where
miles,
where they were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I want to die in this house. It's my goal in life.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Thinking about that.
I think about it every day. I just want to die in this house. Stare at the wall morning, afternoon, night, just thinking about when I'm going to die in this house.
You and your bottle of Windex.
Yeah.
You are a sick mother.
I do. Stare at a picture of a painting of myself. Not even a picture, a painting.
You need
a portrait. I do.
You need a portrait.
I have a portrait of myself on my wall, and I just stare at it, and I think about dying in this house every day.
Oh.
You have a cat, right?
I do.
Okay, then the cat will eat you.
The cat can't eat me, yeah.
There you go.
By the way, great show. Blue Collar Show, Rescue Me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
is a good show.
It is. I just discovered it on Netflix. They're all on Netflix.
Well, because it's over now.
It's over now.
I have to actually get it and watch it because I tried to watch it and I can see it's a good show,
Oh,
but I
so
don't know
brilliant.
what's going on.
Yeah, it is. It is so. It's a really well written show.
Yes, it is.
I have two problems with it. Two major problems that most people watching the show will not get, but it really bothers me.
Okay.
One, the location of it. It takes place in Far Rockaway.
Why
They
is
live
that
on
a
the
problem?
Rockaways,
Why is that a problem?
on Rockaway Beach. Rockaway Beach is not an Irish-Italian neighborhood.
It used to be.
Used to be.
40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, it used to be.
Okay. The second problem that I have with it is that firefighters on that show do not get paid money. They don't make that much money. They say that a lieutenant gets $50,000 in the FDNY. That is the biggest crock of shit ever, because in the FDNY, a regular firefighter... the hell is that?
I have no idea.
Okay. A firefighter
It's Dennis Leary coming to kick
Yeah,
your
Dennis
ass.
Leary's coming here. A firefighter gets paid after 5 years, $97,000.
They do.
That is your salary.
Okay.
97 grand. It's like 76 plus the 20,000. I forgot what they call it. Like perks, like with holiday and all this
Okay.
extra pay you get. You
And
get
it's
paid
overtime, which everyone does.
overtime, and then that's not even including like the special overtime that you get. Like you can make $100,000 easy after 5 years in the FDNY. A lieutenant gets paid 120, and a captain gets paid like 165. This is wealthy people, not super wealthy, but you're
Right.
living well. But on the show, they get paid like 40, 50,000 a year, and they're all pulling doubles, and they're still not able to pay their rent. And they're just getting by. I am really annoyed by that. And everything else is so accurate. Like it's about the firefighters that struggle after 9/11.
Well, it was 7 years, right? The series was 7 years.
2004 to 2000. Yeah.
I don't know. Is it possible that? Well, I don't know. Why wouldn't they set it there? But is it possible that in other cities they don't get paid?
Well, in other cities, it's volunteer. Most cities don't pay. I mean, major cities pay. Okay, $99,000 you get paid total pay. You get fringe. Okay, they have the fringe pay. So 76 after 5 years, $99,000 with the fringe pay. Lieutenant 125, captain 149, and 161. Fringe benefit reflects overtime, holiday pay, and other differentials.
Okay.
And this isn't including all your overtime. Even if you get no fringe, $76,000 is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Especially as a starting.
So
Yeah, that's a nice start.
starting salary is 43. Starting salary is 43, 49, 53, 59, 65, 99. And you're not even maxed out at 99. I mean, you're still adding years.
Right.
You're still getting, 25 years on the job. You should be getting paid a lot more. That bothers me a lot. The fact that it takes place in a location that's not really that kind of location. It's more like Long Island City.
Now, there is a strong Irish neighborhood in the Rockaways because we were down there.
There is. Yeah, there is.
Like-
There's an area of the Rockaways
Really?
that is still,
Yeah.
yes, that is still very Irish. It's like surrounded by
The crap.
other
Yeah.
ethnicities, but there's this area in the Rockaways that's very Irish.
That's not how I get what they did, but I think it would have been better if like they said like Howard Beach. You know what I mean? Like they live in Howard Beach. Like that's more
You
realistic.
realize anytime you film in a city, people in the city will have a difficulty with that. Everyone watching Rescue Me outside of New York City.
Doesn't know
Has
the
no
difference.
clue. It
Has
doesn't
no
know the
clue.
difference. Yeah.
No.
So you're gonna really have to suspend your disbelief.
I mean,
a little
everything else is pretty accurate. Like, I really like the whole point that a lot of them are dealing with survivor's guilt after 9/11.
Yeah.
And it was done it was done 3 years after 9/11, 2004. So
Yeah.
it was still an open wound here in New York, but it was really fresh at the time they did it. And just really well written. Just like the turmoil that these people's lives are in after 9/11.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really interesting, but a great show. I'm at like season 3 now. I think like
Well,
almost season 3.
I think his family. He comes from like a family of firefighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he knows.
Him
he
and
knows.
Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi's from a family of firefighters too.
Is he?
Is
Yeah,
he?
Steve Buscemi was a firefighter.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he's not even a New Yorker. I don't know if you know that.
Steve Buscemi?
No, Dennis Leary. Massachusetts.
Boston.
He's from Massachusetts. Yeah, he's from Boston.
Yeah.
Which I always wondered kind of why he didn't set it up there.
And he's Conan's third cousin. Conan O'Brien.
Is
Really?
he?
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
There you go.
This just in.
There you go. All right. We got to wrap it up anyway.
Okay. We never
Uh,
talked about the War of 1812.
we
and
never
large,
got to any
and
of
large sodas.
Next week.
Next
Yeah,
week.
We'll save it for next
Absolutely.
week.
Okay.
Okay.
Go to our website, guysfromqueens.com. Thank you, Lon. Thank you, Joe. Lon, any plugs?
No, I don't have a ride. So thank you everyone that helped me on mine. And
All right.
I think the last word really should go to Joanna tonight.
Joanna?
Vagina.
Take care. Brush your hair.